everyone, wishing all our viewers a very happy new year and welcome to another episode of All About Cars where we will be answering all your questions. But before we go ahead, make sure you like, share and subscribe to the CarWale channel so we can help you better with your buying decisions. We begin with our Instagram questions first, and Nishant Reddy asks us, can we expect any changes for the 2021 model year Kia Seltos? So Nishant, it's already been 2 years since the Seltos was launched and a facelift is due. So we can expect a facelifted Seltos to be launched later this year. And changes, you can expect a few changes on the exteriors, a few more features added and a few more changes on the interiors as well. So yes, you can expect a facelifted Kia Seltos to be launched sometime later this year. Our next question comes from Jay Soni, and he says that he wants to upgrade from his Honda City ZX petrol manual transmission. His budget is up to 14 lakhs and his monthly running is about 1500 kilometers, and his requirements is a top end model with an automatic transmission. Jay, coming from a Honda City, the earlier Honda City, we would recommend, if you're looking at something in the SUV range, we would recommend the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross. That also comes with a torque converter automatic gearbox. It has decent ground clearance, it's got plenty of space, it's got decent amount of features and it's decent to drive as well. So we'd recommend that if you're looking at something in the SUV segment. If you want something in the sedan segment, we would recommend getting the new Honda City, which again is loaded with features, looks fantastic, and it should be a worthy upgrade over your current Honda City. So you can have a look at both these cars and make a decision. Jay also asks us whether the Honda HR-V or the Toyota CHR or the Toyota Corolla Cross will be launched anytime soon, or should he consider buying the Hyundai Creta? Well, Jay, none of these cars are confirmed at the moment and everything is just speculation. There's no word on any of these cars being launched by the manufacturers. So as of now, if you're thinking about the Creta, I think you can go ahead and buy it. Our next question comes from Ashish Katari, and he asks us, does the Toyota Fortuner get the upgrade kit everywhere or is it available only in Leela Toyota Delhi? Answering your first question, the upgrade kit should be available in all cities. We think most dealers should have the kit. You can just call them before going ahead and purchasing it, and they can let you know whether the kit is available or will they have to order it for you. So that was about your question for the kit. Your second question, does the Range Rover Defender get all features like underbody camera, etc. in India? To answer your question, yes, the Land Rover Defender is a CBU, so it gets all the features that it has on the international model. The feature that you are talking about is the clear side ground view, where it basically gives you a virtual view of the road ahead. So no matter whether you're taking it off-roading or it's a tight parking spot or you need to spot a high divider, this feature helps you spot it so that you can park it easily or you can clear an obstacle easily. So that feature does come in, but when you buy the car, it's as an optional feature. So you'll have to pay extra for it. But yes, you do have the option for that feature. Our next question comes from Vasant Kumar, and he asks us, everyone is promoting electric vehicles for the future, but how will people with basement parking in societies or those with no proper parking space charge their cars? Well, Vasant, infrastructure is one of the problems why electric vehicles aren't in full flow in India right now. But most manufacturers are working towards finding a solution. So when you buy an electric car, most of them come to your place and install a charger, whether it's a bungalow or in your society, where they'll take a common electric connection and give you a charger. But if your parking is outside on the road, well, that makes it difficult. So what you can do is, if you have an EV and if you don't have a proper parking, you'll probably have to go to a dealership, or like I said, the infrastructure is still building, so there might be charging stations put up sometime in the future, so that will help people with EVs and those who don't have a proper parking. Our next question comes from Prashant Reddy, and he asks us, when will the Mahindra XUV 300 Sportz be launched, and will it be offered with the petrol AMT variant? Prashant, there isn't a fixed date when Mahindra will launch the Sportz variant, but in case the XUV300 gets a facelift this year, there might be a possibility that they bring in this new engine. So basically, the Sportz variant will come with a GDI, a turbocharged gasoline direct injection engine, and it will be pushing out power in upwards of 120 bhp. But however, we aren't sure what date Mahindra will launch it, and like I mentioned, in case Mahindra brings in a facelift, they might consider launching the Sportz variant. And we doubt that the Sportz variant with that high performance engine will come with an AMT. You'll either get a twin clutch gearbox, or you might get a torque converter with it. Our next question comes from Sagar Khanna, and he is looking to buy a mid-sized SUV, and his budget is between 12 to 18 lakhs, and he does not want to go for any of Hyundai or Kia cars, and he wants to know which should be the best option for him. Sagar, in your budget, we would recommend choosing between the XUV 500 from Mahindra or the Tata Harrier, or if you want a 6-seater option, you can also look at the MG Hector. All these three cars have been around for quite a long time now. They've been tried and tested, and they offer a bunch of features, good performance. So test drive any of these three cars and you can buy any of these that you like. Our next question comes from Sugatha Mukherjee, and he wants to buy a petrol automatic car with a budget of 11.5 lakhs, and his priorities include build quality, safety, long lasting and useful features. Sugatha, we would recommend the Honda Jazz for you. The Honda Jazz comes with a 1.2 litre petrol engine with a CVT gearbox. It's a very good combination. The engine is smooth, refined, and it's frugal as well. As for features, it's got plenty of features, it's got plenty of space. So we think it'll match all your needs, and it fits in your budget as well. So we would definitely recommend the Honda Jazz for you. We now move on to our Twitter questions, and Jovito Cardozo asks us if the new Maruti Celerio will be launched in 2021, and will there be a X version for it as well. Answering your question, we have heard news about the new Celerio being tested, but we aren't sure if the new car will be launched anytime in 2021. So if you're considering buying the new Celerio, the current car makes for a good choice, and you can go ahead and buy the X version. Our next question comes from Rikav Shah, and he's looking for a replacement for his Ford EcoSport. He liked the Mahindra XUV300 but found the boot to be too small, and he wants to know if there are any other options apart from the Tata Nexon. Well, Rikav, you can also look at the Nissan Magnite, but it's a tad bit smaller compared to the Ford EcoSport, but it's got a very good engine, it's got a good gearbox, and it's got plenty of features. So you can have a look at the Nissan Magnite, and if you plan to, or rather if you can upgrade your budget a little, you can also have a look at the Nissan Kicks, the Renault Duster, or the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross. All these three cars make for a very good choice, and you can buy either of them. Our next question comes from Lash Lego, and he asks us if there are any concessions for persons with disabilities while buying second-hand or used cars. Lash, to answer your question, we do know about GST concessions available for people with disabilities when you buy new cars. However, there isn't any concession available in the used car market as far as we know. So if you're considering buying a new car, you can take a look at the PWD concession, but used cars, we don't think there is any concession out there. Our next question comes from Saurabh, and he wants a one-word verdict between the Tata Nexon and the Hyundai Venue. Saurabh, there can't be a one-word verdict because each car offers something different. So I'll make it simple for you. If your priority is space, you can have a look at the Tata Nexon, but if you want to look at a better driving experience, the Hyundai Venue can be your choice. We now move on to our Facebook questions, and Kunal Girdhar wants to ask us which petrol automatic SUV to buy with a budget of 11 lakhs. He will be driving mostly around Delhi with 1 or 2 highway trips every month, and he prefers good ride quality and features. Kunal, you can choose between the Tata Nexon, you will get the petrol engine with the AMT gearbox, or you can have a look at the Nissan Magnite, which comes with the CVT gearbox and the 1-liter turbo engine. Both these cars are very good options, and the Magnite gives you a better drive experience while the Tata Nexon gives you more space. So we'd suggest you drive both the cars, test drive them and take a call. हमारा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है अक्षय नायक से, और वो पूछ रहे हैं कि टाटा HBX कब आएगी। टाटा HBX टाटा की कॉम्पैक्ट SUV है, माइक्रो कॉम्पैक्ट SUV है, एंड उसका अब तक सिर्फ हमने प्रोटोटाइप देखा हुआ है, बट गाड़ी टेस्टिंग फेज़ में निकल चुकी है, और हमारे हिसाब से समवेयर अराउंड जून, मिड ऑफ 2021 से लेके एंड ऑफ 2021 तक टाटा ये गाड़ी को लॉन्च करनी चाहिए। बट गाड़ी ऑलरेडी टेस्टिंग फेज़ में है, जैसे मैंने बताया, बट वी शुड सी मोर फोटोज़ एंड पिक्चर्स कमिंग आउट सून। वी नाउ मूव ऑन टू आवर यूट्यूब क्वेश्चंस, एंड Navedul Halim asks us that he's a first-time car buyer and his budget is about 6 to 7 lakhs max. He's looking for easy drivability, he loves space, and he will not go for base variants. Without compromising on features, can he get a 7-seater? And if not, he would like to stick to Tata, Maruti or Hyundai. Answering your question, Navedul, we do have the Renault Triber for you, and we think that makes the best choice. You can go for the RXL variant, that's priced at 7 lakh rupees. You get a proper 7-seater, you get a decent amount of features, and it's good to drive in the city as well. So if a 7-seater is your priority, we would definitely recommend the Renault Triber at 7 lakhs. Our next question comes from Dheeraj A, and he says that he's in search of an automatic car with a budget of 14 lakhs, and he's shortlisted the Skoda Rapid and the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross. He also wants to know that he'll be using the car inside the city as well as on highways, and he plans to do short trips with it as well. He wants to know which of these is a better car in terms of ride comfort, driving experience, and rear seat comfort. He also wants to know if the S-Cross Automatic gets ESP, and he says that he doesn't like compact SUVs because of the cramped rear seat experience and stiff ride, and he wants to know if there are better options in that segment. And he also asks us if it's worth considering the Honda City CVT V variant if he decides to stretch his budget a little. Dheeraj, answering your long line of questions, between the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross and the Skoda Rapid. The Skoda Rapid offers the better driving experience. It's more dynamic, it's more fun to drive. But the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross, thanks to its long travel suspension and extra ground clearance, it offers better ride quality and it can take bad roads better. And also it's got better rear seat comfort since it's more spacious. Now, talking about ESP, no, the Maruti Suzuki S-Cross Automatic does not get electronic stability program. It does get hill hold, it gets ABS with EBD, but no ESP. Coming to the other part of your question, where you find compact SUVs cramped and is there any other option, we think the Tata Nexon is the most spacious compact SUV, and you can have a look at the Tata Nexon. It's also got a very good ride quality, so both these issues of yours are sorted with the Tata Nexon. Now talking about the Honda City, again the Honda City is a very good choice, and if you can stretch your budget, you get plenty of features, you get plenty of space in the new Honda City, and it's fantastic to drive as well. So if you can stretch your budget, the Honda City makes for a good choice as well. Our next question comes from the Conclave, and he wants to know if there's a performance difference between the Kia Sonet manual diesel and the Kia Sonet automatic diesel, and how does that translate on road when you consider 0 to 100 km per hour times. He also wants to know when the new EcoSport will be launched and if the Figo or the Freestyle will get any updates anytime soon. Well, to answer your question, the Kia Sonet, between the manual diesel and the automatic diesel gets a variable geometry turbocharger as compared to the fixed geometry turbocharger on the manual version. So there's a difference of 14 bhp and about 10 Nm of torque. While that does seem like a significant amount on paper, in the real world a manual will be slightly more responsive as compared to a torque converter automatic gearbox. So when you talk about 0 to 100 kilometers per hour times, they'll be pretty closely matched. So there won't be too much difference when it comes to 0 to 100 kilometers hour times, but drivability, yes, there will be a slight difference thanks to more horsepower and more torque in the automatic turbo. Coming to your other question, when the new EcoSport will be launched, or when the new Freestyle or Figo will get their updates, we don't have a fixed date yet, but we should see a new EcoSport coming in the last part of 2021 or possibly in 2022. As for the Freestyle and Figo updates, again, there are no dates as such, but we should see a few updates coming in towards the mid of 2021. Our next question comes from Vivek Gupta, and he wants to know which is a better car from a driver's perspective between the Honda City manual petrol and the Hyundai Verna manual. Vivek, both these cars are very entertaining to drive. The Verna gets a 1 liter turbocharged engine, whereas the Honda City gets a naturally aspirated 1.5 liter engine. Again, both these cars are great to drive, they're good around corners, but choosing between these two, we would go for the Honda City. Its naturally aspirated engine is a tad bit more responsive, it's also more entertaining to drive, and we just feel that the Honda City entertains slightly more than the Hyundai Verna. You can have a look at our driver's car series video where where Vikrant Singh has driven the new Honda City, and I think that video will answer your question better. Our next question comes from Rhea Pearl, and she says that she is thinking of buying a Maruti Dzire AMT petrol version, and she says she's heard issues about poor build quality and less ground clearance. So she wants to know if why the build quality is low, and should she be concerned, and will the ground clearance with a fully laden car should be of any concern. Rhea, we haven't heard of any quality issues with the Maruti Suzuki Dzire. Also, as regards to safety, if you buy a decent mid-size variant or a top variant, you have enough safety features, so that's covered as well. As far as ground clearance is concerned, again, we haven't heard any issues with ground clearance with the Maruti Suzuki Dzire, even with the fully laden car. But in the end, this is a sedan. So if you do encounter monster speed breakers, illegal speed breakers, there are chances you might scrape the underbelly. But if you think ground clearance is one of your main concerns, you need to probably look at a compact SUV. That would totally eliminate any issues of ground clearance. But apart from that, we haven't heard of any other issues with the Maruti Suzuki Dzire. Our next question comes from Mihir Mohata, and he wants to know which is the best hatchback under 8 lakhs, and it should be entertaining to drive and should look good as well. Mihir, within your budget, we have two choices for you. You can either go for the Maruti Suzuki Swift, or you can go for the Ford Figo. Both these cars look fantastic. The Swift, even after all these years, it's a great looking car. The Figo again is also a very good looking car, and both these cars are very entertaining to drive. The handling on both the cars is fantastic, and you can really enjoy should you decide to really bring out the enthusiast in you. So you can test drive both these cars and choose between any of these. Our next question comes from Pawan Sharma, and he wants to know if the Tata Harrier's petrol engine has been delayed or not, and he thought that it would be launched by Feb or March 2021. Pawan, we expect the Tata Harrier's petrol engine to debut with the new Tata Gravitas, which is basically a 7-seat variant of the Tata Harrier, and the new Tata Gravitas will debut on 26 Jan. So we expect the car to be launched, or rather unveiled, with that petrol engine, and we should see that same engine roll out with the Tata Harrier soon as well. Our next question comes from Vamsi Krishna, and he wants to know if the upcoming Carnival is better than the old. Vamsi, that's with most new models. So the new Kia Carnival will be bigger, it will be more spacious, it will be more powerful. So yes, the new Kia Carnival will boast plenty of new stuff over the older car. So yes, it will be better than the current Kia Carnival. Our next question is from Kirti M, and Kirti wants to know which car is more value for money compared to the Nissan Magnite XV Turbo or the Altroz XZ Petrol. Kirti, we think between both these cars, the Nissan Magnite makes for better value for money. It is a bigger car, it is a compact SUV after all, it's got a decent amount of space, it's got a lot of features, plus you get a little more car for your money as compared to the Tata Altroz. So we would definitely recommend the Nissan Magnite. Our next question comes from Adnan Yusuf, and he says that he's thinking of buying a new car. He's from Kerala and he's confused between the Tata Altroz XZ Petrol, the Hyundai i20 Sportz, or a used Toyota Etios Liva diesel. His priority is the car should make for a good family car. Adnan, between your choices, we think you should choose between the Tata Altroz or the Hyundai i20. Both these cars offer plenty of space. In fact, the Altroz is slightly bigger, so it would make for a better family car, and as far as space is concerned, the Altroz definitely has a slight edge over the i20. But apart from that, when it comes to features or performance, we think the i20 has a slight edge. So both these cars make for good family cars, and we would suggest you skip the used Toyota Etios Liva because it's been discontinued, and you should stick to choosing between the Hyundai i20 or the Tata Altroz. Our next question comes from Suresh KB, and he says that he has a confusion between again the Tata Altroz and the Hyundai i20. He's already booked the Tata Altroz XZ Petrol, but he's doubtful about the engine and ground clearance. Suresh, as far as we know, there is no issue with the Tata Altroz engine or ground clearance. It has a decent engine, it's decently peppy, and ground clearance is also plenty, so there should be no problems there. But if you're talking about performance, yes, the Altroz is a tad bit underpowered, because of which you have the new turbo variant coming out soon. But again, between both these cars, you've already booked the Tata Altroz, and if you're talking about any issues per se, there are none. That's it for this week's All About Cars. Make sure you do send in your questions so that we can help you make the right decision, and do make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update.